Hey everybody, welcome to our Google Plus Hangout with several YPN leaders. We're going to be talking today about what is YPN, how you can get involved, and how it's actually touched people's lives. So I want to invite three people to join us today. First is Bobby Howe. Hi Bobby. And Bobby actually began helping her mother sell real estate when she was 8 years old, you guys. At 18, she got her official license and began practicing, and she actually also became an escrow agent. She's a past president of the St. Joseph Regional Association of Realtors, and she sits on the Missouri Association of Realtors Executive Committee, and she's serving on the Council of Residential Specialists Strategic Planning Committee. She co-founded the Missouri YPN in 2009. So thank you for joining us, Bobby. And we also have Rod Reuter, who is also a second-generation realtor, and he now works at the National Association of Realtors as the Director of Communication Networks, where he is tasked with encouraging member involvement in the realtor organization and identifying future leaders. Fancy! He is working his tail off to establish YPM as a permanent entity for the local and state associations and, of course, at the NAR. And lastly, we have Philip, who founded Becker Properties in his hometown of San Antonio. Go Texas, what? His passion for real estate dates back to watching real estate shows while other children watched cartoons, you guys. He was named the San Antonio Board of Realtors Rookie of the Year in 2010. He served on various elected positions in the Greater San Antonio YPN and Texas Association of Realtors YPN. He served on many committees, both local and national, and has won innumerable awards. So thank you guys for joining us. I really appreciate it. So first, I'd like you each to tell us where you live and how you got involved in YPN and how it's actually changed your life. So Philip, where do you live? How did you get involved in YPN? And how did it change your trajectory of your career?
So I'll start by repeating, go Texas. I'm from San Antonio, Texas, so based out of there. I was licensed in November of 2009, which was right about the time that the San Antonio board decided that they were going to found a YPN network. And so being a little ballsy, I decided to interview for chair of that YPN network, and somehow I got vice chair. And so one of the things I like to tell people is that if it wasn't for getting involved with YPN, especially as a small independent broker with really no one to turn to and no resources, I probably wouldn't even be in the business today. So YPN has been awesome for me, and it's really helped be that catalyst for me to get involved with not only the local but state and national organizations and just meet some amazing people and also give back.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And Bobby, you've been involved in YPN for a number of years, and many people consider you one of the top leaders. So tell me more about your involvement and how it changed the trajectory of your career.
Okay. And answering your original question, where I'm from, I am from St. Joseph, Missouri, which is just north of Kansas City because no one ever knows where it is. I'm an association of 246 members, so we're a real little bitty tiny association. And I actually got involved kind of at a backwards level. Most people get involved at their local level, move on up to state, and then go to national. And I kind of jumped in on the state level. They pushed me up to national, and then I went back and got involved at my local level. I got involved in YPN 2008. I was on a plane to Orlando for the national convention, and the person sitting next to me said, "Hey, had you heard about YPN?" And Elizabeth Mendenhall actually was sitting in the row right behind us. She's going to be the 2018 NAR president. And she goes, "Hey, I've been wanting to get YPN going in our area. Why don't you guys get a state chapter started?" So me and the seatmate next to me, we co-founded the Missouri YPN back in 2009. We came down to the 2009 convention, was in San Diego, where I met Rob. That's right after Rob came on staff, and have been around since. And much like Philip's story, if it weren't for YPN, I probably wouldn't be in real estate today. It actually gave me a new passion for real estate. I actually was completely burnt out. I got in it when I was 8 years old, like you said, and I was totally burned out by the time I was 18, and then I forced myself through it. Several times I wanted to leave, and YPN has rekindled a new passion in me that I never had before. And so I'm just so thankful for everything that it's done for me and the things that I can do for other people with it.
I love that, and thank you for sharing. It's so amazing. I mean, that you guys met on a plane. That's so random, right? Yeah. So Rob, tell us a little bit about how you got involved at YPN and what your current role is, and of course, where you live.
Sure. So I'm currently residing downtown Chicago, but my real estate career began 40 miles west of here in a town called St. Charles, Illinois, which is where my family works to this day. I'm a second-generation realtor. Got into the business right out of college in 2004. Did that for about 5 years and came to both a crossroads in my professional and personal life. And when I had heard that NAR was thinking about this young professionals network, it immediately drew me in. And just from having been out there and knowing what it's like to be somebody in their 20s, and I wasn't in my early 30s like I am now, but we're a minority. I think the statistics are that 11% of realtors are under 40, 6% under 35, and 3% under 30. So I felt with social media these days and the way that we can communicate, I just felt it was a great opportunity for this group to connect. So as Bobby mentioned, I joined NAR in August of 2009. I was on a listing appointment the night before and took the listing. And so that's when I met Bobby at the San Diego conference. And here we are 6 years later. And we've grown the network to 350 state and local networks and about 15,000 registered YPN members.
Wow, that's tremendous growth. Well, I'm curious. I understand that YPN mission currently focuses on getting involved in 4 core areas, but I also understand that that might be changing soon. Bobby, can you tell us a little bit about that?
So for the very first time ever, the National YPN Advisory Board is going through and actually having our first strategic plan ever. And actually everyone know my advisory board broke up into work groups, and they actually just turned their homework in to me last week. And with everything I've had going on with my business, I haven't had the time to devote to it like I wanted to. But actually over this weekend, I'm going to get it all put together, and we're going to have a rough draft back out to everyone next week. And we're keeping the core that we've always had, but we're actually setting ourselves up with some standards of what we want to see out of our advisory board, and so we can help people at the local, state, international levels, and help ourselves as an advisory board, and put more work onto us to take some stuff off of Rob, because we kind of just overwhelm Rob with things. And we are volunteers, and our job's not just to sit around and go to a couple meetings a year. We are to do work all year long and help better this group that has bettered our lives so much. So I want to put that onus back on everybody. So
I think that's great to understand, and I think I'd like to start with Rob. I have a question for you. First, is there an age limitation to YPN? And after you answer that, can you tell us how members are helped to connect with their realtor associations through their involvement with YPN? So a two-parter.
Great. No, and that's a great question. We get it all the time. Since we are known as the Young Professionals Network, we say it's for the young at heart, and young in the business. So we don't kick anyone out when they reach a certain age. We encourage everyone to join if they have the right mindset. It's really a mindset. If you're collaborative, if you're happy, if you want to improve your business and want to see the Realtor Association and the Realtor brand go in the right direction, this is a great place for you. So with that being said, and mentioned in some of the statistics before, we have 350 networks that have established, and so if you approach your local realtor association, there's probably a good chance that they have a network. Because if you were to add up all of the realtors that are represented by the associations that have a YPN, they represent about 800,000 of the 1.1 million realtors that are out there. So it's a great way to go to the association. Hopefully they have an active YPN there. And if not at the local, the state, I think there's 34 state associations that have a network as well. So they probably have a Facebook group or a Facebook page if you're a Facebooker. I know we actually maintain a closed YPN Facebook group for the national YPN. It's about, I think we've got like 13,500 people in there right now. And that's if you were to type in the search bar, National Association of Realtors, YPN. It's a closed group. We have to cross-reference you with our the NERDS database to make sure you're an active member to let you in. But then once you're in, it's a great resource for everybody.
Perfect. Thank you for that. And I want to move on to Philip. I would love to know, how does YPN help members to connect with peers, and how does YPN help to get you guys involved in the community? And have you had any experience with either of those things?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and speaking from like the local level, many of the local networks will be focused on 3 core areas, which is networking, and education. And then the third thing is community involvement. So like one of the things we do is once a quarter we do a community outreach event, and it could be a Habitat for Humanity build or a fundraiser for a local homeless-based nonprofit. And so for me, that's been a great thing with YPN, not only to meet new people in my community, but also, again, to be able to give back throughout those. And YPN has just done a great job of embracing the local community and being involved and giving back.
Perfect. Now, Bobby, how does YPN help members become more active in the industry? And you spoke to it helping you with burnout and helping your professional life, but how does it help other members as well?
So it brings everybody together. And what we have seen is, realtors are all viewed as competitors with one another. And we're not. I mean, we are competitors because we go after the same listings, we go after the same sales, we have same clients. We also love to give to each other, and especially when you put a little bit of distance between us, you're really okay opening up and telling everyone your best business practices and what's going on. And it opens doors to you to things that you may have not had doors open to you otherwise. I get to do fun things like this. I get to go travel and speak. Philip and I both got to go to Atlanta this year and speak to the Atlanta Board of Realtors and do continuing education classes for them. The more people you expose yourself to, and the more you give of yourself, the more that you get back. And it really is just a great beginning grounds for so many people to come in, and just where you can go from it is endless. It really is just an absolutely amazing thing that we have going on.
Well, I know I've learned a lot about YPN, and I think that you guys have debunked a couple of myths that even I held about YPN, so you've been very helpful. I'm dying to know, let's say I'm a realtor and I'm just learning about YPN, what's the first step someone should take if they want to get involved at YPN?
They need to call Rob.
And Rob, when somebody calls you, what do you do?
Well, like I said, I'd encourage them to get involved with their local YPN. That's obviously much easier to, much more tangible compared to national. We have an advisory board, as Bobby had mentioned, they're working on their strategic plan. That became official in 2010. But we have about 20 members on that advisory board, and they actually represent all 13 regions of the country that NAR has it divided up into. So it's a pretty competitive advisory board to get on. I know we have, with only 20 spots, and it's usually a 2-year term, we only have a few spots every year that open up. So, but we definitely, we have a nice event at the annual conference and the mid-year meetings in DC. So you're welcome to attend those. We have our advisory board meeting at both conferences, which is open to anyone to attend, especially if you're newer to YPN. I would highly encourage you to come and check it out. Just be a fly on the wall, listen to what the group's talking about. Quite often we'll have some surprise guest speakers come talk to us, such as in May we had both Tom Solomon, who will be NAR's president next year, and Stefan Swanepoel, who just released the Danger Report, which identifies 50 threats to the real estate industry. And it was just really cool for the group to be approached by these guys that are pretty big names in the industry, and for them to recognize YPN, I think we're all pretty grateful for that.
And if I can just add, if for some reason your local or state doesn't have a YPN network, don't be afraid to start one. You can download the YPN Startup Kit at realtor.org. Is it realtormag.com/YPN?
realtormag.realtor.org/YPN.
There you go. Thanks, Rob.
So you know how to get started, how to reach out, how it's impactful to your career and your professional development as a real estate professional, no matter where you are, what stage you are, what state you're in. So if anybody has any questions for each of you individually or wants to continue this conversation, how can they reach you online? And I'll start with Philip.
I'm on Twitter at Philip B. W. Becker, or you can also find me at becker-realtors.com.
Very good. And Bobby?
I'm also on Twitter. I am Bobby Howe. There is no E in Bobby. There's a crazy girl in California that has an E on the end of Bobby, and so you don't want to follow her. And then you can find me bobbyhowe.com. You can find me on Facebook. I'm Bobby Joe Howe on Facebook, so I'm anywhere.
Very good. And lastly, Rob?
I'll give you my work email address. This is my first initial R, last name R-E-U-T-E-R @realtors.org. I'm also on Twitter, which is at Rob_Reuter, Reuter, and Facebook, Rob Reuter.
Very good. I want to thank you guys for spending time with us today and helping us to understand YPN a little bit better. And we will have any links that we mentioned in this broadcast will be below this, so you can check that out after the broadcast. But thank you again. My name is Lonnie Rosales. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of The Real Daily. You can find us on Twitter at Real Daily Update, and we will talk to you all later. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.